Welcome back. Let's talk a little bit about open source philosophy and where Linux sits within that. So the question begs to be asked, why did Linus decide to give away Linux to the world for free? Why not do what all the other vendors in the world did and make it a money maker and go corporate with it? Well, let's talk about GNU, or GNU. GNU is a recursive acronym for GNU's not Unix. This was chosen because GNU's design is Unix-like, but it differs from Unix because it's free software and does not contain Unix code. GNU was founded and started by Richard Stallman in 1983 with its original focus on the free software foundation, which we will go to in more detail later lesson. Today, there is actually no true stable release of GNU, but the combination of GNU software and the Linux kernel, otherwise known as GNU Linux. The GNU project basically says that contributors assign the copyright for GNU packages to be free through the Free Software Foundation. What Stallman hoped to achieve is that allowing programmers to modify an application code, which would make it highly quality software in the end. Software developed under GNU, which is also referred to as just free software. There is, however, a variation of the GNU concept of software known as open source software. We will go over these in detail in a later lesson. As a note, a lot of useful software utilities which are going to be used within Linux was developed under the GNU, such as the GNU C compiler, or known as GCC. Torvalds was very much influenced by the GNU project, so much in fact that it led to his release of the source code for his Linux operating system kernel. Linux itself actually released under the GNU General Public License, or known as GPL for short. One thing you need to remember about GPL is that it is required that the source code remain freely available to anyone who might want it. Therefore, even today, you can still download the Linux kernel source code, modify it, recompile it, and then run it. You could even create your own custom version of this Linux kernel, known as a distribution of Linux. There are many applications that are available to run on Linux. In fact, one key reason of which Linux has become so popular and powerful is the vast amount of these powerful applications that are freely available. Not only are there many awesome applications out there for Linux, but they are also free. These applications are free because they are again under the umbrella of what is known as open source software. When software is created under an open source license, then that developer who wrote the software must make the source code for that software freely available so that other developers can then download that work and work on it collaboratively on the application and/or Linux kernel, and in many cases make it better, which is really what the world is all about within the Linux universe. In the next lesson, we're going to talk about distributions. Distributions is a very good example is how the community of open source developers have downloaded a base Linux source kernel and developed and made their own branches or versions of Linux operating systems. Let's go ahead and finish this lesson and jump into that next lesson now.